Hello, welcome back to the channel. So I have a copy of a book I've been very excited about for a while now. Hail Caesar, Once and Future King. So I first heard about this a few months ago, and I knew as soon as it came out I'd want to get it. Arthurian Britain is one of the periods of history I really enjoy. And actually the author is Murray-Dom, who's Australian. But actually, if you've listened to the excellent Ancient Warfare podcast, he hosts that. So he's a historian by trade, I believe. And he certainly knows his onions when it comes to sort of ancient and medieval history and war games. So I didn't know what to expect from this, whether it be a historical one, whether it would kind of look at the period of Arthur rather than the Arthurian legends itself. And I'm delighted to say it kind of blends all of what I'd want to see. So if we I'm just going to flick through and talk about a few things I've really liked. I've had a chance to read this over the last couple of days since it turned up. I would also point out that this is my own copy. This isn't a review copy or anything. So all thoughts are my own, but you should know that by now of the channel. So it talks a bit about the historical context of Arthurian, and it's firmly set during the fall of, or post the fall of Rome, once they've pulled out of the British Isles. And actually, when it comes to kind of the legends of Arthur, because Arthur is a legend, there's no kind of accepted history, and there's fragments of information in different places. My take on it is the story's probably been pulled together by several key historical individuals and kind of mythologized from there. I think Ambrosius would probably be the closest to a real-life Arthur you'll come across. So, there you go. Who was King Arthur? The battles of King Arthur, because there's like 12 mentioned. So Arthurian Britain. I am sort of spinning through this quickly. Now, special rules, looking at sort of the focus on heroic leadership, allies, religion at the time. Now, my plans for this is, rather than doing it Hail Caesar with sort of big block regiments, units of like 20, 30 men, probably is going to do a base of 8 men, and that's going to represent Hail Caesar unit, and I'll be able to use Hail Caesar at that point. And I found Nevermind the Billhawks sort of Arthurian period rules as well. I'm really enjoying Nevermind the Billhawks as well. So what we have is some armies. So Arthurian British. The army list's got all the things you'd expect, the sort of Arthur's knights, infantry plus support. Now we've also got some special rules about sort of hero commanders, Merlin, ladies. So all the knights have got special rules. This is one of the things I love about this book, is on all sides you're going to have all the principal characters from the legend. They've all got their own rules as well. They don't have points, so you're going to be able to just throw these into your armies as needed. But as you see, gathering the heroes, which ones, who are available, how you're going to deploy them in the battle, which is pretty cool. I mean, there you go. So from all the famous ones, like Bedivere, Gawain, Lancelot, Galahad, Kay, down to ones less well known, like Lamarick, Cador, etc. Summary of the rules as well. Even rules for Merlin. He has a slight impact on the battle, but he's not certainly running around casting fireball spells. It's more about sort of prophecy, and he allows, if the enemy blunders, they're going to roll 2 dice, and you get to pick the result unless it's a double, in which case Merlin has found something different to look at. Now the next bit, the ladies of Arthur's court, Guinevere, Morgana Le Fay, and Morgause. These can be on the battlefield and have an effect, but once the effect's used, they go away. Certainly something I've really liked in a Song of Ice and Fire game is the battle's going on, and then the sort of non-player characters that aren't in the battlefield can still have an effect, and certainly I'm getting that sort of feel from it there. And it looks at 2 periods, so Age of Tyrants, pre-Arthur and after Arthur as well. And again, there's loads of characters, special rules. Even Merlin was a younger man, so how does that affect it? You know, Ambrosius Aurelius talked about there as well. So yeah, lots of different characters. But it also covers the enemies of Arthurian Britain, so the Saxons. So this is an early Saxon list as they were invading. So the Anglo-Saxons, who went on to form England, weren't native to the British Isles and were foreign invaders. So the impact of them, they're probably brought on as kind of mercenaries. And we talk about invasion, it was probably sort of invasion and settlement rather than a whole-scale move over. Their rules for Saxons, and again, at Wee Army list, Saxon special rules, looking at how their combat is different to the Roman British at the time, the shield walls, loads of war leaders for the Saxons, obviously not as many as the Knights of Arthur, but yeah, you've got Hengist and Horsa, the famous ones there, and a whole load more as well. The Picts from the north and east of Scotland, Pictish army, very influential in the Arthurian stories. Irish and Scots. Scots are from Northeast Ireland, started to settle Dalry, Kingdom of Dalry. That's near where I live at the moment. And rules for Scottish army, not a lot of choices there, infantry and skirmishers. But does have their own war leaders. And then finally the Usurpers, who are going to lead the rebellion against Arthur. Mordred, who is his son, is his nephew. The Welsh. So the Welsh have a lot of claim to the Arthurian legends. The sort of Celts, ancient Britons lived there. And as the Saxons came, a lot of sort of British culture was squeezed into Wales. And finally, the Romans. So I think it's Geoffrey of Monmouth. His legends have Arthur kind of unifying Britain and then marching off to fight in Europe. So rules there about kind of forming a proper late Roman army and even pulling in different kings of the Orient, different forces that they might have fought if they were going into Europe. Or to go back into Britain and conquer Britain again for the empire. It's quite nice that if you've got other armies, you might be able to throw some stuff in. Also, maybe it's allied contingents. Now, there's 12 famous battles of Arthur, and they're all kind of scenario rules, but it's also tied together as a campaign. So you can either play these as one-on-one or as a sequence to go through it. Lots of ways to kind of form your battles, but looking at the Arthurian legend, the different parts of Britain's claim different parts of the Arthurian legend. So I was saying there, the Welsh, Britain as a whole, the South, kind of obviously the South, and Scotland. Scotland has quite a claim on Arthur. You know, one of the most famous parts of Edinburgh is Arthur's seat. So yeah, you've got your scenarios there, and this gives you a really good way of looking at how to run quite a nice sort of narrative-based ladder campaign where the results build up. There's rules for your heroic heroes. If they die, do they come back or are they killed? You know, if Arthur's side, if Arthur gets killed, how does he come back? How some of these battles link. So these two, for example, play back-to-back. So Arthur's trying to hold off enemy attacking. So if Arthur falls in the first one, how is he in the second one? Lots of rivers. It talks about, actually, they were the boundaries between lands. And also, if you're maneuvering and you know an enemy's going to attempt to enter your lands, you hold the river crossings against them and you've got an advantage. So smashing on there all the way to the end. Then you've got a Pendragon campaign. So kind of looking at it again, but sort of with a different, bigger, grander scale, if you will. And yeah, so the Pendragon campaign, part 1, part 2, Arthurian Britain. With a couple of final battles. And the end with your campaign results. So, 84, 6 pages with the covers. Really good book. It's jam-packed with information. Delighted I've got it. I should have brought through the special model you get for getting it as well. In fact, where is he? This was a picture of him earlier. He's one of Arthur's companions. So all these models you can actually get from Warlord games themselves. Yeah. Agravane. This is the model you get with the book. So yes, so obviously I'm gushing about the book. I think Miri Dom has put together a really nice book. It blends history with the legends. It hits all the high notes you'd want to get out of the legends, but it keeps it firmly as humans in that legends, rather than sort of really hyping into the mythic of it. In fact, the rule for Arthur is Excalibur isn't called Excalibur, it's called another name. I can't forget it at the moment, but it basically once per game allows him to refight another round of combat. All the heroes have got to attach to units, so you don't have supermen running around, but heroes that can influence the battle. Lots of nice pictures of painted models. If I've got one criticism of the sort of Hail Caesar books, Black Powder books, everything, is you don't really see any big pictures of maybe what a game looks like. So in here, there's no sort of army shots of what an army might look like together on the battlefield, or even like two armies squaring off against each other, what that would look like, what that would feel like. But if you've got any interest in Arthurian legends, Arthurian Britain, the time of the collapse of the Roman Empire, this book's probably for you. I think Dark Age Sagas Volume 2, I think Volume 1's probably Shield Wall. I've only got a digital copy of that, but I will get a proper copy for that. And I think in Shield Wall as well, that's got kind of the suggestions, and the ancient British supplement for Hail Caesar talks about maybe using smaller unit footprints, because ultimately the stats for a unit's a stat for a unit. It doesn't matter what size that unit is on the tabletop, as long as it's consistent across both sides and you tell what it is. But anyway, that's me gushing loads over the book. I've got some a small skirmish force coming just to paint up, see how it goes. I've got loads on my painting desk at the moment. I've got a passion back for painting and wargaming, and some of the barriers to my time have started shaking themselves out. So expect more content. It might not be till next year before I actually get a real chance to delve in and start painting up my Arthurian British stuff. But you know what? I'll share it on the channel. Anyway, hope you're having a great time wargaming right now, and I look forward to chatting to you in another video.